coming to you from G.I. Joe's bunker in Atlanta, Georgia. I have the honor of being surrounded by three very good friends of mine who have the honor and joy of spending some time with this, what is it, a 3-day getaway for the event that G.I. Joe is hosting for us here in Atlanta. And we're unofficially calling it Hotlanta.
Hotlanta Hoedown.
Brother, thank you for spending time with me.
It's my pleasure, man. It's been great.
Of course, for those of you who do not know, this is G.I. Joe, Cowboy, and Sire Blood. All right, these are three what I consider very influential people that have helped me so much, okay, in terms of influencing me and learning or teaching me on how to better play this game that I absolutely have a passion for, and I thank you guys so much for that. Thank you.
Oh, it's been a blast, man. It's been a blast.
Yes, yes. So now my question that I have for you is, how did you guys get involved with Axis and Allies? How far have you been playing the game? Who will go first?
Me was started elementary school. Didn't see my dad much. Went over there every other weekend to every other month, depending on how parents are getting along. Then one day, we used to always play G.I. Joes. Told you about we had the rubber band wars, we setting them up. Then he came home with the classic one day. And not knowing we were playing it wrong, we still played it. Then I loved it. It was such a, it's probably the good memory I had with my father. Because we really didn't.
Oh, that's good.
We really didn't. I can't say didn't like each other.
Didn't have much in common.
But no, didn't have nothing in common. So it's really,
yeah.
It's nice that you got something though.
That's a great thing. That's a great memory. Talking about fathers, my dad was an influence with me. He liked strategy, not so much military strategy, war games, but he liked playing strategy games. That I know. And that's something that influenced me. But his thing will be more with sports, which is something that that I guess I inherited from him. Anyway, how about you, Joe? What got you into the game?
Well, I've always been a war history buff, probably since I was in the late 70s, from watching war documentaries and all that. And then I was about 13 or 14, and a friend of mine said, hey, I played Risk a lot with my dad, and I liked the whole war strategy of it. And then a friend of mine said, you ever heard of this game called Axis and Allies? I said, no. And he told me what it was about. He said, there's a guy down the road. So,
a creepy old man.
Yeah. Turns out it was
How old were you?
turns out two 14-year-olds go to some dude's house that's mid-late 30s.
A little weird.
Now kind of sounds weird, but that day I saw the game and instantly fell in love with it. And then, of course, I was cutting grass and shoveling snow, for odd jobs, and so I had my mom take me to the mall there that next weekend, and I bought the game. So I've been playing it ever since I'm about 14 or so.
I started a lot later. I was a junior in college when my uncle introduced the game to me. He lived in Alaska. We were going on a camping fishing trip up there, and he knew it was going to be pouring down rain. So he shoved the game. I had never heard of it. He shoved the game in the trunk, and sure enough, it starts raining. He brings it out. So we're playing it in the tent in the pouring and rain.
No kidding.
No kidding. And it just stopped raining after about 4 hours. It just rained nonstop. It didn't matter. We didn't care. We kept playing the game, and from then on. Now, you mentioned your dad in sports.
Yeah.
That's why I liked it so much. My dad was a superstar athlete anyway himself, but he coached me all growing up. And one of his favorite philosophies was to get the Bad News Bears type teams, put those teams together, and see how he could go against the powerhouses and just win. Because he loved the strategy about substituting this person in or making this call at this time. And so he kind of developed me so that when I was introduced to this game, it was like, oh, you're always the underdog. And we've talked about that a lot this week, right? Yeah. You always feel like you're losing even if you're winning. And so I love this game for that. But yeah, I wasn't introduced to it till a junior in college. And I love it now. And then this rule set just...
Fantastic.
Makes sense.
Well, for those of you who do not know, I've told this story before a couple of times in other previous videos with myself, but I always had I was always very interested when it came to strategy and tactics and the war movies and history in general. I remember as a kid playing with toy soldiers, and doing the rubber band thing that we talked about yesterday, and you would aim at you would set up your toy
Right.
soldier armies, and you would go back and forth with your
Try to
friends.
take out a line of them.
Yeah, and then, or you would take a bottle cap and just shoot back and forth and see who would win. It was great. So I always had that interest, and of course I've been a big fan of war movies. So it wasn't until I got into high school though that a good friend of mine at the time, still is, even though I don't see him, I've almost never see him now, Peter Marble introduced the game to me in high school, okay? And the moment he opened up that box and I saw that, I'm like, that's my game. I just fell in love with the pieces, the classic version I'm talking about, obviously. And I like the naval units, the ground units, the air forces and all that. I was just blown away by it, and I never really looked back.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had my periods where I played on and off, but I always have managed to come back to the game, And one of the things that recently I have enjoyed the most of the game is not only the game itself, but the social aspect of getting to meet awesome people like you guys. So I'm really enjoying that aspect of it, and I'm really enjoying also the fact that we're traveling to get to hang out and play some Axis and Allies games, with other people throughout the country.
I agree. Totally.
So it's been a fantastic experience, and thanks guys. I really do appreciate that. So anyway, we're here in Atlanta, okay, and we've been playing using the BBR rule set, which stands for BloodBath Rules, and the BBR is a rule set that Sired developed, and the intent behind that rule set is to make the game playable in a relatively short period of time. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's questionable at times also. You're right. But that's the idea behind it.
Correct.
That is I think we can all agree on that. One of the biggest complaints that a lot of people have that would like to play the game and that do not play the game is because it's too long. I can't play a game that lasts 12, 14 hours, or that I have to come back the following day to play. The idea behind the BBR is that, right? So I don't
Play in a day, go home.
Right. So can you talk a little bit more about that? Where did that come from? And
Well, a lot of my guys, and myself included, love the game, but I don't want to play 8 a.m. to midnight like yesterday. That's not my favorite time to play. And a lot of my guys drive an hour plus to come over. They don't want to play a 12-hour game. They have to drive an hour plus home. Yeah. Yes, it's not so bad for me. I just go to bed. But now they're on the road, And so it got to the point where it's like, just how can we speed this up a little bit? The naval blockade at a box was really ridiculous. You had one ship blocking everything. It's like, just get my guys there, integrating the rail system just to add a little bit extra room, because there was a lot of rail systems. And having the facility, say the air base and naval base, gave up, you had an air base giving a +1 to air units. You had a naval base giving a +1 to naval units. Nothing gave a +1 to ground units. So why not the facilities? Why don't they give them a +1 movement? And it seems to get the game rolling.
One thing that I think I should mention that you haven't is that the BBR is designed to be played in 8 rounds.
Yes.
Okay? In 8 rounds, you'll have a definite winner or loser. There are no 9. I mean, the game does have the option to play up to 10 rounds, but the ideal number, I believe so far, and that's just based upon my experience, is the 8 round game. And that's the beautiful thing. After that, game over.
Yeah.
Okay, and you will have a definite winner. I can't tell you how many times in the garrison or in the past, we'll play 10, 12, 14 hours, and it'd be the end of the day, and we're like tired, exhausted, and the question is, okay, so who won? Who's willing to resign? And then we're looking across the table, and we're like, well, if I win one more round, I got this. I got Moscow.
You always hear that guy, well,
yeah,
I'm going to do this and this and this and this. You know what I mean? And it's just like,
but I'm going to do this and this.
Right.
That's what I agree with both of you. The best thing about this particular rule set is that subjectivity and questionability it's gone.
It's gone. Yes.
It is gone. You know from the very beginning of the game, this is what you had to accomplish.
Yeah.
Did you accomplish it? Oh, I'm sorry, you lost. You played great. Guess what? You lost.
Yeah.
You didn't get there. You knew what you had to do. Same thing. I knew what I had to do. Shit, I screwed up. I lost.
Absolutely.
There's no question. It's not, you can come say, John, but I'm controlling you. You know what? You're right. You are 100% controlling me. I am your whipping child.
Yeah.
Thank you for beating me. It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure.
You told me what I had to do. I didn't do it. Thank you.
So true. So that's the amazing thing about the BBR, and that's one of the things that I guess the reason why I really fell in love with the rule set initially. And we're talking about it a couple of minutes ago. When I first played the BBR at the BloodBath last year in September of last year in California, I was a little bit hesitant. I was like, okay, I don't like this, or I like this, I don't like that. But what sold me on it was the fact that in 8 hours, you have a clear winner and loser. And then that's I think a fantastic element to the game. Okay, so
You have a lot more people willing to try a game as they can
If
be
there's
home
a-
for dinner.
Yeah.
Versus like, you're gonna come back tomorrow and wrap this up. You know,
Yeah,
a lot of people have
definitive
a lot of people have a weekend off. They don't want to spend both days trying to wrap up a game. You know, just like you want to be able to go have a game and then go out to dinner still, and so then have the next day off still. You know, it's a big thing.
now we don't have the time to focus on all the rules and details of the BBR, but Sire's been working. So we're not going to cover all these little details, okay? But I know that Sire's been working very hard at developing a card deck and a rule book manual, okay? That's going to be available to all of you out there who are interested in the BBR. So yes, here it is. Highly detailed, very beautifully done, guys. This is not a half-assed done job. The quality is nice. Not will be, it is nice. Okay, how can we go about getting
Why don't you stand? Keep the camera on. I'm gonna go get the book.
okay, go ahead, no problem.
Yeah.
We'll
Go get
continue.
that.
We'll continue here.
And the quality of these
Yeah,
cards
excellent.
is just, I mean, even if you've got people that palm cards a lot of the time and you're always worrying about that, they're not going to ruin your cards. I mean, listen to that.
Yeah.
They're great.
Great, good quality. You know. So, your bag already?
I guess it don't matter. Guess it don't matter.
Okay.
All right. So we have, end up being 50 pages. I mean, 50 pages, full color, and it has the Pacific rules in here, Atlantic rules in here, these rules in
Turn
here.
around so they can actually see.
Great pictorials.
Lots of picture diagrams.
Yeah, if you don't mind. Thanks. I'm sorry about that.
Just look
I can find the clip.
That's how it's gonna look like, guys.
Whoops, look at that.
This is the rough manual that Sire's been working on, and is currently in the editing process.
There we
You
go.
got it?
Yeah, just a
The
line.
rules of warfare.
Oh, we'll save that. That's a surprise.
Beautiful.
Oh, right. Fake shoes got a surprise.
Great artwork. You see the island of Japan, Hokkaido, all that kind of stuff.
Excellent.
And there are some changes from, this is version 2.0 that he's completed now. And I think you all will find some of the changes are, oh yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that makes so much more sense. So
I find that the game now with the BBR is more, there's more tactics and even more strategy involved than with the out-of-box version. That's my personal feeling on it. I see there's so many more ways on how to win and how to play the game. Mm-hmm. With out-of-box, you're very limited to certain patterns, okay? With the BBR, you have options on how to conduct the war and how to execute it, and it's really your opponent will find it difficult predicting what your strategy and what your tactics.
Yes,
will
that's.
be. You can always change it in some way. Okay, so
To me, one of the whole rule set is fantastic. But to me, the exciting part are the last two rounds, round 7 and 8.
Yeah.
Because you know the time is coming. the time's about to end. You know that in the next 1 or 2 rounds, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this. So therefore, what am I going to do with these pieces?
Yeah.
So you end up doing things unconventionally that you wouldn't normally do, which brings
Good point.
the unpredictability about things, and then your opponent's like, whoa, I didn't see it. I never figured you would do that.
Absolutely.
And so, to me, the last 2 rounds are when it's really exciting because it's just like a total, run and dashing towards the finish line. Just throwing junk everywhere.
What's your favorite country to play with?
Not that I'm good at it, but I really like playing with Japan and probably UK. Those are probably my 2 favorites.
In the UK.
I do like playing with UK.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
What about you?
Me, maybe because I've been playing often with it, but Japan. I really enjoy Japan, and after Japan, I would say Germany.
I'm the exact same way, brother. Okay, so why? Why those two? I bet we have the same reasons, but why?
I think because you're the one that gets to dictate. I think you're the one that sets the pattern to the game. You're the allies.
Which is what you don't like.
I don't like being to set the scene.
You don't like to. You're right. You have set that in the past. So I like setting the pace, and I guess I don't like surprises.
Okay.
So if I can dictate my strategy to you, I think I have an advantage, and I think that's why I prefer the Axis overall. Even though I find myself playing a lot with the allies, and in part it's because when I have people coming over to the garrison, I want to be a gracious host, and I choose.
Yeah.
And what do people want to play always? They want to be the bad guys. So they'll choose usually the Axis, and that's how it goes. Very rarely will somebody pick the allies.
You know what I find interesting? Okay, can we all agree that Italy, for the most part, typically in the out-of-box rules, and Anzac in the out-of-box rule, are very minor players, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's my first.
You have a couple of good Italy games, but for the majority,
Have you played a BBR game where those two, for whatever reasons, actually decide a lot what happens?
Matter.
It's crazy,
They do
right?
matter. They matter.
Okay, and once again, so can I use this? This game's already over. We've decided. But Germany was making $91, right? They owned all of Russia, 100% basically of Russia. The Allies lost because of the point system, which allows you to have options. How many possible points are there, Jason?
The Axis.
26.
26 possible points. You only have to get 12. You have options. Out in the bloodbath, how many people lost Moscow or lost London and still won the game? You can't do that in out of box.
Right.
You're always in the game. And with Italy and Anzac always being in the game, and the additional national objectives, which are historical and make sense and tilt a little bit, you have options. Any game where you have an option is fun.
Yeah.
Even when you're getting butt whipped,
That is.
have an option so that it's like, oh, I'm not just going to go cry in my corner.
Yeah.
Hey, I got you. Bring it on.
That's
You have options. I love that.
It's funny because and for many people that are accustomed to playing out of box, one of the when they play the BBR, they say, "Yeah, I took London. I should have won the game. How come I don't feel right because I lost the game?" Well, maybe you were playing the game the wrong way. You could take Moscow. It happened to me when my first game. I took Moscow. The first time I really played the BBR, I took Moscow. My team still lost. Right? You could be the Allies, and you could be the Axis and take London, and still lose the game. So
But you can also not take either and still win the game.
That's correct.
Right, absolutely.
And it's
So
not bad.
The flip side to that,
And
yes.
it's not bad strategy to take London and all of Russia. You just have to protect the other points.
And in part, guys, it's because Italy, a minor power, and Anzac, another minor power, now, even though they're minor powers, they have a pivotal role to play in this rule set, which is just elevates the game.
And I think it makes it fun to introduce new people to it. Because used to you would just kind of shove those off on someone, right? Right? Now, if you give them, they're instrumental in the game. They are So and once you get someone interested like that, they're like, oh yeah, let's roll some more.
So you better be careful who you assign Italy or Anzac to, because if they have not played well, you'll be in trouble. So that's very, very true. So I'll tell you, I like where the game has gone as far as where you've taken it. So it's a fantastic thing, and I think we're all very appreciative of that. Next event, can you talk about that?
September 21, 22, 23, right? It's 20. That's Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We're gonna have 6 tables set up.
Yeah.
And BloodBath will be going on, buddy.
Love that.
It's 2.0 rules this time. 2.0 rules.
2.0. So if you guys paid the 1.0, make sure you update yourselves because
it's a new map. I mean, the map isn't the same.
Right, and there's a few additional rules have changed.
2 additional rules have changed.
Yeah.
A few rules were added. Yeah. And then the map is
like now you have submarines can target select, not just your tactical bombers. Transports when paired, you have a die roll of one.
Submerged submarines can't convoy.
Or battleships if they're damaged.
Yeah.
Oh, another thing that I think is fantastic is the kamikazes.
Yeah, the kamikaze rule changed for sure.
Yeah,
and back to your first edition rule.
Plus, first edition, plus a tweak on the income as well.
Right. And
they can't, basically you can't kamikaze if you're a
Right.
So
Which would be historically accurate. Why would you waste people?
So if Japan is winning the war, kamikazes really don't apply to you.
Well, and what do you mean by winning? Which means they have
Japan is winning. If Japan is winning,
by a certain IP, if they're making more IPCs than they start with, and Iwo Jima, Okinawa, Marianas, and Philippines have not flipped, they cannot use kamikazes.
Precisely. And that is fantastic because, seriously guys, think about it. Is it fair that if Japan is winning the game for them to be able to activate their kamikazes? No. The kamikaze was a weapon of, a tool of desperation. You know, it was like something that the Japanese had really no choice at the very end but to incorporate at a mass scale.
Because I've been in a couple of scenarios where C-Zone 6 is kind of left open and you sneak in there and they have kamikaze still, but there's nothing else on the board. They're just all over here. That they shouldn't. No, you're not gonna do that.
Yeah. And it also, on the flip side of that, it prevents the United States with their money, because Japan has to spread their resources so far. It prevents the United States with their money from just being able to go in there.
Absolutely.
They have to now pay attention to that kamikaze.
Right.
Because they can activate it back up themselves. And you don't. Do you want to do that? It's a trade-off.
Taking Philippines back as the American now is kind of like, do I want to activate the kamikazes or not?
Is that think about that. Isn't that $7 worth it?
Do I have the assets to absorb those potential kamikazes, or do I just leave Philippines alone for a round?
A few more changes: battleships,
capital ships.
If damaged, can only move one movement at a time. Battleships go from a defense of 4 to 2, attack and defend. Die roll from 4 to 2, and movement of 1 only if damaged.
Yes.
And of course, the rails have been introduced, which is great. I like the fact that you can rail at least 1 unit.
The Trans-Siberian Rail.
Trans-Siberian Railroad. You can either rail 1 unit back and forth from either Europe, from Moscow to Siberia, or vice versa. Nice little introduction. I like that, even though we didn't use it, right?
You just got used on us, but we didn't use it on our game.
Okay, right. So
actually, I've been accessed both games this weekend, so I didn't get a chance to use it yet.
Oh, okay,
that's right.
What's I'm assuming your favorite country is I guess the Axis. Right?
It's definitely Japan #1. I like having crap come. I mean, how sadistic is that? I mean, think of that. I love having crap come at me all the time, and I actually got the pleasure of playing Japan yesterday, and this guy right here, man.
I lost.
This guy. What you said though, I like dictating stuff.
Yeah.
And let me say this right here. I was being dictated too. Yes, I was being able to control some stuff, but this guy, made me. I forced him into a desperation thing at
Yes,
the end,
yeah.
but it was great. But that's what I like about Japan.
Guys, for your information, at the end, he bested me. So, so much for that, right? So,
Oh, we didn't mention he is the BBR champion right now.
Oh,
From last
yeah,
September.
hey, I lost to the champion of the BBR, by the way. So,
Let's just say it was my teammate that won it for us. Let's go with that. But you know, we're talking about other guys since my roommate and teammate last time. We've made some changes after coming out to Oklahoma. A couple of these guys came out to Oklahoma. There's other people that aren't here with us today that actually help play test some of these and develop these rules and stuff like this.
Yeah.
So you guys out here that are commenting to all these guys, I know I don't have a channel, but y'all are commenting to them, watching their videos, their instructional videos on his changes and stuff. Keep commenting. Because there are good things that we pick up from just playing at the events, playing with you all playing with your people. Hey, what about this? Well, let's, does it work? Because you have to play that out. And like you've said many, many times, you can't just pick and choose. If you pick and choose, just go back to out of box. Because you're not understanding how it affects coming around.
Very, very true. Very true.
One thing, it's a snowball thing.
Your favorite?
Country to play?
Yeah.
Is the UK. I'm with you guys, Joe, on that. I like the UK a lot.
Okay.
They seem to be, they kind of start off being in a pinch, but they're all over the place.
Yeah.
They're all over the place, and they have options. I mean, if that falls, so what? If that falls, so what? There's always somewhere else they can go and be a thorn. And remember, in the BBR, the allies don't have to win. They have to make the Axis not win. So it's kind of like, I don't really have to focus on getting there or getting there. I just have to stop this and stop this.
That is an interesting concept. Okay, the allies do not have to win. The allies just have to stop the Axis from winning the game.
Yes.
And if you have that mindset, you win the game.
Yeah, yes. You don't have to win. You have to not
Deny.
You have to prevent them, the Axis,
from achieving the objectives. That the objectives, of course, are the 12 victory points that have to be accumulated in a total of 8 rounds. If at the end of the 8 rounds you haven't achieved those objectives, the allies win the game.
Right. And at your event out in California last year, so I'm guessing over the 3 days there were probably, 16, 17 games played, right? I'm going to bet that 12 to 13 of those came down to round 8, the last move.
Yes.
2 of our 3 games in Oklahoma came down to last moves, weird places. Java or Fiji? It was Java or Fiji?
Fiji.
And Crete.
Crete?
How many games you played that happened?
Norway?
Oh, Norway in our BBR 1.
How about the YouTube wars? 1 and 2, same thing.
Morocco and Norway.
And Norway. In both YouTube wars, both games, it came down to the very last battle.
And once again, weird places.
And it keeps the game
and weird places.
It keeps the game exciting the whole way through. It's not like you're sitting there on round 3 and like, this game's over. And you just you lose interest. It's hard to lose interest when you still think you can win.
Right.
Up to the very end.
Very true.
Not that has-not happened though. We have had 2 games where you just
it's on the rarity.
It's
definitely on the
but
rarity.
for the most part, it is coming down to that. So that suspense level is just
There's always those games where the dice are just totally worthless and it's like, we should start over again because that was a waste of 4 hours. But for the most part though, if the dice are pretty close where they should be evenly, goes all the way.
Another thing that I'm liking that you mentioned that for the BBL, for the BloodBath, that you're going to be introducing is chess clocks.
Yes, the chess clocks.
That will to even further curtail, clean up the game, make it tighter.
Everybody works better under pressure.
Yes.
And will mistakes be made? Absolutely.
100%.
But I can guarantee you that it will even make the game more exciting.
It will make the game more exciting.
And you could play the game in 10 hours or whatever, 8, 10, 11 hours. And
so we're going to give everybody 11 hours to play 8 rounds. That's
right. So what's the actual mechanics of that?
Okay, so Axis get 5.5 hours. Allies get 5.5 hours. Okay. So, the clock, it's Jeremy's turn. You push a button, the other lever goes up, right? So their clock ticks. You can take it as long as you want.
Right.
You take an hour for Germany one, whatever. But the minute, then as soon as you're done, you click it, their turn starts going. But then whoever runs out of time first loses the game. You should not run out of time. I gotta make that very clear. You have an hour and a half more than you probably need.
Correct.
Because remember, you don't really have to. Round day is very quick. There's not really purchasing very much unless you're on a defense.
Right.
There's no collecting income because there's no round 9.
Right.
There's no trivial moves to make. It's just key moves at that point. Can I even do anything? No, it's your turn. You know what I mean? It's very quick. So basically, you're only playing 7 rounds. To 11 hours and 7 rounds.
And Jason, would you also say that that's kind of true for round 7? For half of the countries, really round 7, they don't really need to do anything other than just position. And that's it.
It gets to the position. What are you going to start holding your points? Getting into position to try and hit on 8. But like for America, you can't even put anything on 7 really because there's no travel time unless we have Honolulu.
You have to take Honolulu back.
Yeah, there's no point.
Or Alaska.
Or Gibraltar.
Yeah, it just kind of gets to the point. If you held those already, they're not in any danger. Well, America doesn't have to do anything.
No. But also keep in mind that the clock never stops.
Never stops.
Not even for conducting combats.
No.
Because a lot of people that have played with time management in the past, when it comes to conducting combat, clock stops. I was one of them. Okay, so not with chess clock.
And we're catering the food, so you don't have to leave for your lunch. Look at it's Germany's turn. Well, it's Germany's turn. Well, the Japan player needs to be in there eating, right? And get back in here. And vice versa. If it's not your turn, you're not under attack. Go over, get your food real quick, and come back.
All right, so
war doesn't stop to chow down. It's the worst battles are going.
Once again, September
21, 22, 23.
September.
And on the 24th is Disneyland.
All right. Yeah. September 21st to the 23rd, BloodBath 2. And
Orange County, California.
Orange County, California. So we're going to be there. Following day, those of us who want to go to Disneyland are going to be maybe spending some time there.
There's some new faces coming this year.
Yeah, get to meet War Pig.
War Pig, yes. Mm-hmm. Looking forward to meeting him in person.
Matt Todd, I haven't met him, but he's been a lot of help.
Matt Todd's been over at the Garrison.
He's been a lot of help doing
with
the
his
cards.
wife. Very nice, spectacular people. Very, very nice. And so I look forward to seeing Matt again.
Yeah, for sure. Plus a couple of new faces. I don't know who they are. I just got their registrations. So it's always great to meet new people.
Right.
It's gonna be fantastic. I can't wait.
Yeah.
There's a lot of laughing that goes on.
Yes.
There's a lot of laughing that goes on.
Healthy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's all fun. All
right. Well, guys, listen. Once again, thank you, my brother.
Thank you, Joe. Hey, thanks for hosting us, man.
Thanks for coming.
It's been great.
It's been great. And
thanks, John.
Thank you for being such a great
person,
man. I really do appreciate
Guys,
it.
I appreciate you taking time away from your families and your own pocketbooks to buy plane tickets and come and hang here. It means a lot to me. So thanks. You guys, great guys.
Well
It's
worth it.
It's been an honor. It really has.
For any of y'all that haven't traveled to play with other guys that know the game and just have a good, you need to do it. It takes your experience to a different level. You learn more. I haven't really met anybody at your event or even come to my house. They're all good guys. I mean, you're allowing them into the house.
Yeah.
You're not going to let people in your house you don't trust.
Correct.
No qualms. It is, expand yourself in this community, people. I'm telling you, do it.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. As I like to say, don't forget to bunker down. Guys, so it is the first day of Hotlanta. Here we are. It's G.I. Joe, Sire Blood, and VK Cowboy. We all arrived at Atlanta last night or yesterday evening. All 3 of us, and we're staying here in G.I. Joe's beautiful home. And as you can see, we're currently playing our first game of our 3-day event here, where we are playtesting
the new
updated rules for the BloodBath 2.0. Okay, we're currently playing the game, and it is halfway, or actually the beginning of round 3. So how's it going, Joe?
We're hanging on, man. I'm trying.
Trying? Yeah, these guys are definitely tough competitors. What's the word, Sire?
It's a good game. It's a
Good game. Tough one, right?
Good people.
Yeah. That's with certainty.
Bunch of interesting things right off the bat in the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, very, very interesting. We had a little bit of help from Lady Luck, that's for sure.
It never hurts.
Never hurts, absolutely.
It never hurts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Joe's in the middle of a staring contest right now. Bored.
Can I move these pieces with my mind?
By the way, I would like to thank Joe, G.I. Joe, for being an absolutely amazing host. You have a beautiful home. Please extend my thank you to your wife for allowing us to stay here. Very, pleased. Yeah, no, the honor is all ours, to be honest. I
You
believe.
guys.
So thank you so much.
I'm gonna scramble.
All right. Wait. No. Do I want to scramble? So it's just a matter of taking out your bomb.
So 3 versus 4, or so you're.
But if it hits, then you're going 400.
If it's 2 hits, your cruiser's out.
What are you hitting with?
So,
Yeah, right. If the 2 hits, my cruiser's gone.
Which means you're only rolling a 3 against the 4.
You're scrambling here.
Right. Yeah. You think?
yeah, but
Germany just landed in, what's the name of it?
Northern Russia.
Northern Russia, yes.
Leningrad.
Leningrad, yes. Of course, the Russian army is in the area of the Baltic states. The British are holding out in Northern Africa. The Germans just lost a good chunk of their air force in El Alamein. Okay, and of course the Japanese are looking very solid in China. The Chinese are almost out. They're holding out to the last province in, what is it? Xinjiang. And here you have the Japanese fleet spread out throughout the Pacific. And then you have the monster American fleet in Hawaii. The U.S. has a total of 4 carriers in Season 26 and an additional carrier in Season 10. And the Australians are doing decently financially. They're collecting up to 29 IPCs in round 4.
What do you use at home for your markers to denote that these 2 are together?
I have special roundels, like this thing.
Spades.
A spade, a heart,
Yeah.
it's in there. Come with a World War II thing. With cards were a big thing, heart, spade, the club. Okay. 1, 2, 3.